Hi, everyone. Um, right now, we're looking at DOCU. This They posted earnings this morning, and we took some call options. And so far, it has made a pretty good, decent run. Also have SRNE on this other chart. They put out some news earlier. Let's see, what was the news? Yeah, they signed a research and collaboration agreement. Um, so yeah. Also, we had a BBIG. See, it's coming back up. Yeah, made a new high now. I was in this earlier, and it stopped me out because it started to fade. Did reclaim VWAP, good entry opportunity right here. Going to keep it on watch. So on SRNE, you have to be careful on SRNE because it usually ends up, selling off, makes its little pop and it sells off. What I would like to see on SRNE is a low volume pullback right into this area, which is your initial morning high. The On the daily, if you go and look at the daily, it has potential if it can get above this level, the $8.59 area. The only problem is you have that 200-day right above it, at sitting right there at 870, isn't it? Yeah, 877 area. So if you could get above that, I mean, you have room up to this gap fill area, which is around a $13 area. So just keep it on watch. It has had a lot of PRs lately, and like I said, you can see it pops on the PRs and then it sells off, pops and then it sells off. But today's price action on the daily actually looks pretty decent, but it would have to close above this level. So keep an eye. I mean, today might be the day. Something to keep an eye on. Um, let's see.
HIMX, HIMAX, June 11, $14 call sweep now in HIMX, Hotel India, Michael X-Ray. Shares moving on that. Shares of HIMAX spiking to the highs, 1366 on volume, HIMX. Hotel India, Michael X-Ray.
Okay, as I was saying on SRNE, we'll look for that low volume pullback to this level. Watching BBIG here, making that new high of the day. I don't like the time of the day that it's doing so, but let's see. Ideally on this one, would like to see a pullback to this level. It may not give us a pullback, but I would like to see a pullback to the 430 area and for it to bounce. But I'm afraid it may not give us a pullback on this. Let's go back and look at DOCU. Still holding up pretty good.
FB, Facebook. Donald Trump says 2-year suspension of his Facebook account is an insult
Okay.
to Americans who voted for him in the 2020 election. That's FB. Statement from Donald Trump.
Let me mute Benzinga. Sorry about that. Okay. I didn't want to hear that noise on Benzinga. I usually have it on so I can, get the news and all on certain stocks when the news comes in. But it's going to be distracting, so just turning it off. NCTY is making a pop again. Volume here. I really didn't expect this to do this with Bitcoin being weak this morning, but that Square news gave us a pop on Bitcoin as well. When you draw I'm going to go over a little bit about the Fibonacci's while we're here, since I'm going to draw them out here anyway. When you draw your Fibonacci levels out, you always want to draw your Fibonacci's at the low point, which would be the prior close or the low of the day. In this case, our prior close is lower than the low of the day, so we're going to start from the prior close. And you draw it to your highest point. So on NCTY, if I was to get long on this stock, this is a pretty good area to get long because we have our prior resistance level right here, our prior highs right here around the 1420 area. And let's see, that's our prior highs. So once the stock pulled back, tried to reclaim VWAP, failed, then managed to reclaim VWAP. We got the trade line VWAP cross right here. And we also got an increase in volume. Okay. We extended and broke past that prior resistance area, made a new high. Now it's pulling back, and it's pulling back on lower volume. That's what you want to see. So you always look for that low volume pullback on a stock when it does something similar to this move. Now, like I said, you want to enter. I mean, you see how it's holding this trade line. Once you get this trade line VWAP cross and you get this trade line VWAP separation, you can see the separation in between the trade line, the green line, and VWAP. Once you get that trade line VWAP separation, you should expect the trade line to hold support on the stock if it's strong. So when you see it coming down to test this trade line, that's your entry level right there. And you put your stop slightly below this prior resistance. This prior resistance is at 1420 area with the 38.2 fib being there at 1420. So you have a prior resistance level there to act as support, and you have a Fibonacci level there to act as support. So you can put your stop slightly below that level and enter the trade. Now, it's not guaranteed. Nothing is guaranteed in the stock market. So it's not guaranteed that it will work out, but it is a pretty good setup to get long. You could also wait for it to come, test this, come lower, come as close to this level as possible to enter your trade. If you didn't, if you wanted to minimize your risk or have a higher position size. But yeah, look at SRNE. Like I said, it pops and then it fades. I'm going to see if it holds this level. If it holds this level, it does have some potential. It could even break it temporarily and bounce off VWAP, but I really want it to hold this level. That's what I want to see it do. We're long on SENS. That ticker always confuses me. There's another one, SCSN, I believe. So again, with this one, we have our, initial morning high right here. That's our initial morning high. Popped up, pulled back, consolidated. I was looking for an entry at 290. And it seemed like I was not going to get that. So I went ahead and entered at 299. My stop is right around this initial morning high area. We're pulling back, breaking VWAP. But it's still, it's still in the setup. I mean, so I'm not worried about it right now. If it comes down and breaks my stop area, then I will exit, and it'll be a loss on that trade. No big deal. On DocU, I really want it to come and test this level right there, 234. See that prior resistance? See that prior resistance right there? Flat top resistance right there and right there. You go back further, there was resistance on it. You can zoom out and you can see everywhere it had resistance. I mean, just a lot of resistance in that area. So it's going to have a lot of trouble getting past through that area. I will probably exit in front of that level. We took plenty of profits on this. So we will see how it trades the rest of the day. Let's take a look again at BBIG. Yeah, it's bad. See how it's trying to bounce off this prior level? I just don't like the time of the day that it made that push. So I don't know. We will see. We also took a call option on FSLY. I'm going to go over that a little bit on FSLY. Zoom in a little bit here. So you can see this is the accumulation line. It's on Schwab, it's called the Chaikin money flow, if I'm pronouncing that correctly. But it measures the accumulation distribution, on there on the stock, and you can see how it's pointing straight up. I mean, it's going straight up while the stock is pretty much trading sideways. That's known as bullish divergence on the stock. So I'm expecting, for it to make a pop and or maybe even a PR to come. Sometimes you see this right before some PRs come out. I mean, a PR will be great since we're already long on this. We have the September call option on it, so we got plenty of time on it. Let me see which call option. So yeah, it's the September 17 $55 call option. And right now, what I am expecting for this to do is you can see right here we got the gap. We got the gap entry right here, and it's right at $47 area. Okay, we're trading at 47.40, so I'm expecting for this to hold support at 47. The trade line is also at $47 area, so I'm expecting it to hold support. And I would like for it to come test this gap, the gap fill at around the $58 area, which, we'll put a line there. And it also lines up with your 50-day, which is this red line. It lines up with that 50-day. So that's what I would like for it to do. If it does, and it does it before our call options expire, then, our calls will be in the money. And, we should make a nice, decent profit on it if the plan works out. If it doesn't, then, we'll just stop out. But that is a plan on this, and we'll see. I mean, it's been beat up, so I think it has potential to try to go test that level, even if it doesn't go to that $58 area. You know, if it moves within the next couple of days, we still should make a decent profit on it. I don't expect it to move today. It's probably just going to trade sideways the rest of the day, but we got plenty of time on it. So let's see on SRNE again. You know, trading. Okay, Mike Slaughter says ICE. Okay, that's an old Fibonacci level I had on there. It's an old resistance area. Let's see. Let me draw out my fibs on this. Again, we're gonna go from the low of the day on this one because the prior close was right around this level, and we did, you know, dip lower. So we're gonna draw our fibs from the low of the day to the current high of the day. Let me see if ICE had any news. I think they did. Yeah, there was an earlier circulation that stock is the new pick by publication Banyan Hill. Never heard of that, but okay. So let's see. This looks like it was a prior resistance level. Let me look at the daily. Well, okay, yeah. So right now, you know, the 50-day sits at 675. So that's, you know, you can see it, you know, it's pulling back away from that 50-day. Now, we do have increasing volume on the daily. So that is good. Accumulation pointing up, MACD separating. It would be great. It would be great for this to consolidate right above VWAP. You know, hold right above this level, which is, you know, you got the 38.2 fib there as well that lines up with VWAP. So this is it's actually looking pretty good. If it could hold on right here, you know, coming out of lunch, it would be a good afternoon setup to try to attack. I would probably put my stop at the $6 area. So, you know, ideally, please don't go now. Ideally, if we could get an entry as close to VWAP as possible with a stop around $6 area, because you have this resistance, you know, intraday resistance right here, right around 606, 610, and $6 on the daily. I'm guessing I have a line there, so I'm guessing. See, oh yeah. So $6 on the daily lines up almost with this gap area, and also this resistance, you know, this prior resistance from a couple of days back. So that's a good area for support. So it's a good area for a stop. I've always okay. Let me see. Mike says, say that again. Which part, Mike? The resistance on the 50-day, or which part? I'm guessing that makes. Oh, name of the company. Okay. Let's see. So according to Benzinga, it says that there was an earlier circulation stock that the stock is a new pick by publication Banyan Hill. Banyan. It's a, let's see, B. Banyan Hill. I don't know. I never heard of it. Yeah, that's yeah. Um, but yeah, that that would be a good trade setup to attack. I'd like I'd like for it to stay in between this wedge, if you will. If I take the fibs out for but cleaner picture, I would like for it to stay in this area and possibly get another dip to this level, and you could enter a tier one, or even maybe even a tier two position with your stop around the $6 level, and see where it goes. I mean, if it can manage to get above this 50-day with the daily trade line curling up to that, you could get a nice little squeeze to possibly this gap area around $8, maybe even the $10 area. It is Friday though. It is Friday. Oh yeah, it's probably. Come on. Yeah, volume is starting to increase on this. I don't want it to go right now. I really, I wish it would wait. But if some of y'all are in, I'm happy, and let it go to the moon. Let's see. Sorry, and he's trying to bounce off that level. Take a look at AMC, see how she's doing. Yeah, she's just going to trade sideways the rest of the day. So, man, you could kind of say that it's trying to put in a wedge, bullish pennant of some sort on the daily. And if it broke to the upside, which it won't do that today, but next week, if it broke to the upside, it could go further. I don't think this is the top. I hate to say that. I don't think this is the top on AMC. I have no position in it. Just disclaimer on that. I have no position in it. I just don't think this is the top for it. I think it'll have one more pop before it reaches its peak. But we will see. I mean, it has to hold in between. It has to hold this trade line, in my opinion, which it could come to test this level right here, which is around 36.50. It could come test this level. I don't think it will. I think it'll trade in between. I think this is the low for the next couple of days. The low of the day, which is 48-ish. Yeah. But it could try to come test this level. We'll see. So definitely keep it on watch for next week. Definitely. There's still a lot of people holding this thing. Hmm. Yeah, I don't see any news on it. Man. Ugh. Okay. So we had support here around that 640, also flat top resistance, 640 area. Go to the intraday. Hmm. I don't think that level's going to hold. At intraday resistance here, 550. Yeah. Pull back to 550 area, maybe. I don't really like it. This is a bag holder stock. I mean, you can see what it does. It makes its pop, in face, but it is gapping up above all the moving averages. I mean, it's gapping up above the 50-day, 200-day, 100-day. Um, if it had some news on it, I'd be more inclined to take a trade on this. $6. Okay, 15-minute trade lines around $6. Prior resistance here. Yeah, lines up with VWAP. Hmm. Yeah, I mean, you could take a trade around the $6 area with a stop around 550. I'm not too interested in it. Um, looks like it's pulling back hard. I've just let it set up. I mean, see what it does. See what she does. RHE halted earlier. Let me go back and look at that. Okay. If RHE can get back above VWAP, we never did get the trade line VWAP cross. So if it can get back above VWAP with the trade line crossing and increase in volume, it could have some potential. I mean, it's got a lot of upper wicks here, but it's got some potential on it, even on the daily chart. Have room to at least $20, but I want to see it get back above VWAP first. Just going over what's popping up on the scanner here. See any news? ONTX. Oh yeah, they've recently done a reverse split, I think. Yeah. Okay. Okay. So the float should be small on this. Let's see if I can find the float. It's probably not gonna have it. Okay, 15 million. It's not too bad. Let's see. So yeah, I mean, ONTX recently done a reverse split, and a lot of times you do see, previous reverse split stocks make a move. They usually sell off, kind of like what it's doing, find its base, and then make a move. Usually accompanied by a PR though. But a lot of traders flock to them because the float is smaller, so it doesn't require as much volume as it used to make a move on it. Yes, nah, not really. Okay. So let's see. It's trying to find support. Let's see if that. Ooh. So it's trying. You can see if you go further to the left on your daily chart, it's trying to hold this gap. This gap is at $5 area, 512, yeah. 597, $6. Yeah, $5-6 areas. It's where that gap is. So let's see what the low of the day is today, 617. Accumulations flat. What I would do on this one, if you're looking to put in a trade on ONTX, I would you see how it's got a green day, then a couple of red days, green day, red day, green day. This trade line, this green line, and let me this green line right here, that's acting as resistance so far on the stock on the daily, which sits right at the 720 area. You can see the high of the day so far, 674. And what you could do is wait for it to pull back close to that $6 level, as close as possible to 6, to possibly enter a small position size and then ride the pop, because it's going to pop. Set some good till cancel limit orders for extended hours in case it makes a pop during pre-market or after hours. And that way you capitalize on it and you don't have to actually be up, early in the morning to catch the move if it makes a move. I would put some sell orders right in front of that trade line, which is 720. So I would put a sell order to sell some. Really, if you enter, like say at say you enter at 620, $6.20. If it made it, if it made another pull, I think it will come back and test this area again. So you could enter around 620, stop slightly below 6. I would put take profit order around 660, my first one, and then my second one in front of that trade line, which would be says 720. So I would put a sell order around $7, maybe 710, somewhere around there, and then hold the rest and see if it'll go test that 200-day or even possibly that 50-day at $10 area. I don't usually take positions like that. I mean, that's just a possible scenario to play out, but I usually try to take a swing on a stock that has a PR coming or had a recent PR, you know, something that'll, or you know, or like on FSOY where the accumulation is pointing up. Go back to look at FSOY. Well, I posted that in the chat anyway, but you see how that accumulation line is just, I mean, it's just pointing straight up. I'm expecting for a PR to come out on this, or you know, or even just a volume pop. I'd like for it to come test this gap and see, but you know, I could be wrong. I mean, a lot of times it doesn't happen, but it has the potential to do so. Yeah, BBIG. So I'm going to go over a little bit on what I entered this stock at $4, I think 405, if I'm not mistaken. And wrote it up. I started taking profits, you know, on this quickly because, you know, I think it was last week or whenever, you know, we had a pretty good follow through on some of these penny stocks, but right now we hadn't seen much follow through on them. And so I started to peel quick profits, which I'm glad I did, because then it pulled back and it stopped me out. My initial stop, if I'm not mistaken, was at the 370 area. Maybe up there, 370 area, if I'm not mistaken. But I moved my stop up once we made this move because the trend line was, you know, was starting to cross VWAP. So I moved my stop up, you know, to the $4 area because this was, you know, a little area of resistance here. And, you know, trade line by that time is trading, it's, you know, the levels around $4 area. So I'm expecting, you know, for it to hold it and push it higher if it's really strong, which it did not. It faded and stopped me out and, you know, consolidated there underneath VWAP until it made that move. I'm not upset about it. I mean, you know, as I said before, you know, and, you know, it wasn't even a losing trade, but I mean, even if it was, let's just say if it was a losing trade, as long as you stick to your stop and you follow your plan, it's not a bad trade. It's a bad trade if you don't follow your plan. You know, it's just a losing trade. I mean, it's part of it. I mean, you're going to have losing trades. Not every setup is going to work out 100% of the time. That's just part of trading. And yeah, if I'd have seen it, I actually kind of put in a little wedge. But if I'd have seen it, you know, around this area, I would have probably attacked it again. I try not to go in twice because a lot of times I end up getting burned when I do that. But it kind of put in a nice little wedge there. See that wedge? Then it popped out of it. Let me do a better job. When you see something like this, that's a good chart pattern to look for. You see a wedge, long, you know, wedge like that. If you want to be aggressive, you can enter inside of the wedge, stop out. If it breaks the wedge to the downside, which let's just say you enter around 410, you would put your stop slightly below $4. If you're putting a hard stop, you know, the bottom of this wedge right here is around $4. So if you're putting a hard stop, I always say, like, say my stop is at $4 area. If you're putting a hard stop, you want to put it 390, you know, or, you know, maybe 387 or so. Don't put it right at $4 because, you know, that is a support zone. And a lot of times what these stocks will do is they'll come down and they'll touch $4 and then it'll bounce, or it'll come down and it'll go down to 399 and then it'll bounce, and your stop order will execute, and you will be out of the trade, only to find out that it continues higher. I don't really use hard stops unless I have to walk out for whatever reason. I just use mental stops, but if you're using hard stops, that's what I would do on that. But anyway, this would be an aggressive entry. If you want to be more conservative on your entry, you wait for the break of this upper line right here. So you wait for the break, then you enter the trade, and again, just adjust your position size and put your stop below this wedge line. If it's strong, it shouldn't come back into the wedge. You can see it pushed. Of course, as soon as you get that first push, you want to take profits, ideally around the prior high. But you can see it made that push, pulled back, and it never came into the wedge. If it's strong, it should never come back into the wedge. But that is a nice chart pattern to look for when trading. Let me look for sends. Yeah, she's just slow. I believe this thing has a big float on it. That's why it's moving so slow. Oh, God, yeah. 382 million. Needs a lot of volume. .Q. Come on, BBIG. Okay, let's see what else is moving. I don't like how this one's been trading almost kind of straight up. I don't like that. I'm not gonna be interested in that one. Mosey still holding. Oh man. I've been stalking this for days, and I missed it. Sure did. On a stock like this, it's PDSB. We had this nice run up, and then we had a pullback, and you can see this daily trade line, catching up and holding support on the stock. When you see a low volume pullback like this, what you want to look for is for a break of this prior resistance level right here. Basically this kind of, if you go to the intraday, let's see if it goes that far on the 3-minute. Yeah, come on. You can see this is that same price action on the daily, but it's on the intraday on the 3-minute here. You can see where it had a lot of resistance right in this area. Once we broke through that level, you know, that's when you know the stock's got momentum, and you can get long, which is right in this area right here. We also had trade line VWAP cross, but I missed it. A little bit on position sizing. You know, a lot of times people say, well, what is your max percent, or what percentage do you set your stop loss? My response to that is none. And the reason for that is I don't have a specific percentage that I use as a stop loss. You know, I set my stop at a prior, at a prior resistance area at a certain level on the chart, whether it be a prior resistance level, which should now act as support. Always remember, prior resistance should act as support, and that key word being should. It's not always going to act as support, but it should if the stock's strong. Same thing with support. If the stock is underneath the support level, then it should act as resistance when it starts to approach that level. So I put my stop, where a prior level is. For instance, on SENS, I have my stop right around this level at 270. Doesn't matter where I enter the stock. It doesn't matter if I enter at 275 or if I enter at 280 or if I enter where I entered this, which was at $3, $2.99, I believe, $3 with $3. It doesn't matter that I'm entering the stock 30 cents away. My stop is still going to be at 270. Now, what you do, or what I do, is I adjust my position size. So let's just say that you had you was using $1,000 positions roughly, right? And you got to figure out what's your max amount that you're willing to lose per trade. So a lot of people like to use 5%. They say, my stop will be at 5%. So on a $1,000 trade or $1,000 position size, then your max loss would be $50. So let's just say you wanted, your max risk is $50 per trade. Okay. So just forget about the percentages. Let's just say it's $50 per trade. That's your max risk. That's how much I'm willing to lose on each trade if my trade setup fails. So what I will do, I'm entering this stock at $3, but my stop is at 270. So my stop is 30 cents away. So now what I have to do is figure out how many shares I'm going to buy so that if my trade setup fails and I get stopped out, I will only lose $50. Okay. So you take that $50, which is my max. This is the simplest way that this is about the simplest way that I can try to explain it. You take that $50, which is my max risk, and you divide that by the 30 cents, which is how much you're risking. You're risking 30 cents on this trade because your entry's at $3 and your stop's at 270. So you take $50 and divide it by 0.30, 30 cents. You come out with about 160. So your position size should be no more than 160 or 170 shares. Okay. Now, if you enter that trade with 160 shares and you stop out right at around that level, you shouldn't lose over $50. Now, granted, there's sometimes they get halted to the downside, and or you get an offering midday, and you're going to lose more than what you wanted to on that trade. But that's not going to happen on every trade. And real volatile stocks, you should even watch your position size. So instead of going in with 160, if it was real volatile, I would go in with maybe 100, using that $1,000 per trade. And you're not actually going to use $1,000. You multiply 160 times 3, you're actually only going in with $480. And you may say, well, I wanted to go in with 1,000. Why would I go in with 480? Well, you're going in with 480 because that's what your proper position size should be. That is what this trade calls for. If you wanted higher position size, then you need to wait to get closer to the stop level. The closer you are to your stop area, the more shares you can buy because you're not risking as much on the trade. If your stop is $1 away, then you cannot buy 160 shares. There's you should only buy 50 shares. And if you get stopped out, you're still only going to lose $50. That's how you keep your losses pretty much the same. Okay. Now, if you enter the trade and it goes the right way, then you're going to make, you're still going to make a substantial amount of money. Just like right now. I mean, it's going down. I mean, I'm watching it. I'm not worried. Hits my stop, I'm going to exit. But I'm not going to be panicking. Oh my God, I'm going to lose so much or whatnot. No, I already know what I'm going to lose if it hits my stop. I don't want to lose. Nobody does. But I've adjusted my position so that if I do get stopped out, I'll be okay. So hopefully that helps. Hopefully that helps some. Jesus. Wow. 524. Okay. So this BBIG, nasty candle right there. I wanted to come test this level and see what she does. Oh, not AMC, AMC. Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's not what I wanted to see on AMC, but I almost want to buy put options on this. Oh, man. We might. Let's see where this gap entry is. 37. It's almost critical for it to hold this level, that 37.50 area. I think we're going to pull back and test it. I think we are. It's just weak. Weak. Why don't be calling me? Okay, C.Q. Oh yeah, come on. I want I want .Q to go ahead and test 234 today because I really don't want to hold it over the weekend. I might just hold some of it over the weekend. I don't want to, but we will see. So that's no more. Yeah, I think this trade line is just going to keep pushing it down. Might have one more attempt at VWAP, but I think it's just going to push it down. Yeah, see about SRNE? See what I mean? Never fails. Always does that. See Lizzie. Ooh. Okay. What I want to see on Lizzie, and it's probably not going to do that today, but what I want to see on Lizzie is for it to break above the 750 level. Accumulation is still going up. So we had this high volume push. We've had this low volume consolidation, holding on that trade line and the 50-day. See prior resistance there on that gap. These gaps, always keep in mind, these gaps will act as resistance. Usually, the gap entry or the gap fill, depending on how far away it is. But that gap fill will always act as some type of resistance. So around $11 area, we got resistance there. Maybe some resistance right here around 850 where the gap entry is. So yeah, these gaps are important to pay attention to them. I'm going to be keeping this on watch for next week. Let me write it down before I forget it. think they have had some recent news, if I remember correctly. Provide in-car audio entertainment for LI auto vehicles. Okay. Recent earnings, yeah. Yeah, this has some potential for next week. Check on plug. Position on plug. Oh, plug, what are you doing? Okay. Plug is similar to my trade on FSOY. I've took profits on plug. I've actually been buying the dips, selling on the rips. Accumulation is steadily going up. You know, stock is going up a little bit here, but even right here where it's been consolidating, is having a hard time because we have the 200-day right in that level. It's having a hard time right there. I'd like for it to go test that 35 level. I wish it would have done that this week. But call options expire in July, so still have time. Still have time. Take a look at leads. Yeah. Leads has to get back up above VWAP. That was a nice trade this morning. Very nice trade. I don't know. I don't know if it's going to make another move today. RHE is trying to get back above VWAP. Keep an eye on RHE. If it gets back above VWAP with an increase in volume, it does have some potential. Let's see. Fibonacci's. Yeah, if it manages to get back above VWAP, I would try to enter this trade after a little pullback. If you want to be aggressive, you can get long as soon as you make that VWAP cross. But I would try to attack it on a pullback to retest VWAP. Put your stop slightly below VWAP. Okay. Not BBIG. Okay. That's looking better. $15-minute. I wanted to get back above this 15-minute trade line, curl up, push the stock higher. That's what I want to see it do. That is what I want to see it do. We'll see. Okay, guys. I'm gonna log off. I'm probably gonna call it a day today. What time is it? 1:26. Yeah, I'm gonna monitor these positions. Gonna take the family out. Go. See. I think she's gonna go. I think she's gonna go. We'll see. AMC trying. We'll see if she gets rejected at VWAP. Yeah. Okay. So my first take profit on SENS is going to be at the high today. If we in front of the high today, if we get there. Y'all have a great weekend and enjoy the weekend.